Credit card debt crisis in America continues. U.S. bankruptcies surge, and this sandwich price up 21%. Hi, it's Edward, back with another video. Please take a moment to click the thumbs up button below and consider subscribing to the channel. Please also share this video with your friends. Thank you for your support. Today, I read several financial news articles. I've included links to the articles in the description below. I encourage you to read the articles to support the authors and news sources. As a private American citizen, I'd like to report and share my transformative thoughts through commentary regarding small sections of these articles that are of public interest. Today, I read an article on Yahoo Finance put out by USA Today and written by Daniel DeVice titled, "Only Half of Americans Believe They Can Pay Off Their December Credit Card Bill." According to the author, only half of America's credit card customers believe they can pay off their December balance in full, according to an industry index. The author references the Lending Tree Credit Card Confidence Index, which is a monthly survey published since 2018. In December, this index hit an all-time low of 51%. This was a decline from 58% in November. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is interesting information. We keep hearing in the mainstream media that the economy is booming and we will experience a soft landing. If the economy is booming, why can only half of Americans pay off their December credit card bill? If the economy was really booming, consumers would be flush with so much cash that they could easily pay off their credit card bill. The author of this article went on to say the national credit card balance stands at $1.08 trillion, a record high. The average interest rate has reached 21%, the highest point recorded by the Federal Reserve in nearly 3 decades of tracking, and some retail cards now charge upwards of 30%. In my opinion, the amount of credit card debt could increase further in the months and years to come. Many everyday Americans are relying on their credit cards to cope with inflation. The cost of life has gotten incredibly expensive in recent years. Many people have not seen their wages keep pace with inflation, and they need to use credit cards to cover all of their bills each month. With the high levels of interest being charged, this may not be sustainable for some households in the long run, because their debt will continue to grow until some can no longer afford the monthly payments. The author of this article referenced a survey from Bankrate that found 47% of cardholders carried debt from month to month in mid-2023, up from 39% at the end of 2021. The average credit card customer holds $6,088 in debt, according to a TransUnion report for the third quarter of 2023, up from $5,474 at the same time in 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, I truly worry about people who are racking up all of this debt, given the high levels of interest being charged by credit card companies. In my opinion, some people will not realize their mistakes until it is too late. Does this sound like the American consumer is in good shape financially to you? Do you think this is sustainable? I'm really interested to know what you think. I read some of the comments beneath this article, and I found some of them to be very interesting, so I'm going to share some of them with you. One individual wrote, "Here's a crazy idea. Spend less and you won't have so much credit card debt. Exercise a little self-control and be responsible. Get over the idea that you deserve to have things you can't afford. It's no fun, but it's better than going into debt." Well, I couldn't agree more with this commenter. Some people need to be more responsible and avoid frivolous purchases. On the flip side of the coin, there are some people who have no choice but to rely on credit cards to purchase food for their families. There may be no food bank close by, or perhaps the food bank ran out of food donations. That is something that often happens. My heart goes out to these people. Another commenter wrote, "I have a surefire way to avoid credit card problems. Don't have credit cards. If you insist on having them, exercise some self-control." In my opinion, not having credit cards may work for some people who don't have self-control. Some people might be better served switching to using cash. If you can only spend what is in your pocket, you are less tempted to purchase things that you would ordinarily purchase with the use of plastic. Another commenter wrote, "I pay my credit card off every month and collect points for cash back." In my opinion, this commenter brings up a good reason to use credit cards, which is the cash back. I personally use credit cards every month, but I always pay off the balance in full. I take advantage of the cash back, and I like the security of using credit cards. I don't have to carry as much cash around, which could get lost or stolen. If something fraudulent happens, the credit card companies generally intervene to assist. What's your opinion regarding credit cards? Tell me about it in the comments section below. Do you know what happens when some people get too deep into debt? Bankruptcy often happens. I read an article today on Yahoo Finance put out by Reuters titled, U.S. bankruptcies surged 18% in 2023 and seen rising again in 2024. According to the author, U.S. bankruptcy filings surged by 18% in 2023 on the back of higher interest rates, tougher lending standards, and the continued runoff of pandemic-era backstops. The author did indicate that the insolvency case volumes remain well below the levels seen before the outbreak of COVID-19. Total bankruptcy filings encompassing commercial and personal insolvencies rose to 445,186 last year from 378,390 in 2022. This is according to data from bankruptcy data provider Epic AACER. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we all knew that higher interest rates were going to impact everyday Americans and businesses. Just look at what happened last year. We had bank failures. If some banking professionals can't handle their financial affairs in a higher interest rate environment, how do you expect some everyday Americans to cope? Based on the data being shared in this article, many Americans have reached a tipping point and bankruptcy was the best option for them. Life can get incredibly difficult for people post-bankruptcy. Many Americans rely on credit to survive. When access to credit becomes more difficult and the interest being charged on that debt becomes more expensive, life isn't always easy. Here's the most interesting part of this article. The author reported commercial Chapter 11 business reorganization filings shot up by 72% to 6,569 from 3,819 the year before. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, compare that 72% for commercial Chapter 11 filings to the 18% of consumer filings. I was blown away by the high percentage of commercial Chapter 11 filings being reported in this article. Again, I have to ask, does this sound like something that we should be hearing about if our economy is doing so well? I personally am appalled by this high percentage of Chapter 11 filings. I feel bad for the unsecured creditors who are owed money by these businesses that may never get paid. There is often collateral damage after commercial bankruptcies. If we do experience a deep recession in 2024 or beyond, what kind of percentages might we see then? Unemployment is still low if we are to believe the figures being reported. If we see an uptick in unemployment due to a recession, I personally worry about the scale of potential bankruptcy filings that we could possibly see. While some companies were forced to file Chapter 11 bankruptcy, there is another company that is doing its best to focus on its growth strategy by closing underperforming restaurants. I read an article today on Yahoo Finance, put out by CNN and written by Jordan Valinsky, titled, TGI Fridays abruptly closes 36 restaurants. According to the author, the chain said in a release that it closed 36 underperforming restaurants as part of its ongoing growth strategy, which also includes a shakeup of its executive ranks and selling some restaurants back to its former CEO. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to hear about what is happening with TGI Fridays. I worry about the workers who will be displaced after these restaurants close. According to the author, New Jersey has the most locations closed with 7, followed by 6 in Massachusetts and 5 in New York. It's cold in those states this time of year, which means these people who lose their jobs will have to figure out a way to pay their heat bill, which is often not cheap. Apparently, 80% of impacted employees were offered transfer opportunities. I wonder how many of them will be able to handle the drive to another restaurant location to stay with the company. If that drive is not feasible, they may have to find other employment opportunities. This is why it is so important to have a well-funded emergency account. Sometimes it can take longer than anticipated to find a new job. If you have adequate savings in an emergency account, you may not need to panic as much. I wonder how many of these TGI Friday workers have a well-funded emergency account. My heart goes out to the 20% who did not receive transfer opportunities. I wish them well as they move forward professionally. While TGI Fridays is closing locations, ChickfilA has been able to raise prices. I read an article today on foxbusiness.com written by Pilar Arias titled, Chick-fil-A prices surge in recent years, report says. According to the author, Newsweek compiled data from Food Truck Empire, which said the chicken chain first increased prices for its classic chicken sandwich by 15% in 2022 and a menu-wide 6% increase in January 2023. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a 21% increase in 2 years. Have you seen your hourly wages or salaries increase 21% in the past 2 years? This is a perfect example of how life as we know it is getting incredibly expensive. This is also an example of the increased cost of food outpacing what people are earning at their jobs. Now understand that you don't have to eat at Chick-fil-A if you don't want to pay these high prices. You could certainly go to the grocery store and buy food and prepare it at home. However, the cost of the groceries that you buy at the store may have also increased in the past 2 years, depending on what you purchase. Understand, I'm not trying to discourage anyone from eating at Chick-fil-A. If you like that restaurant, then enjoy it. I personally don't go there. Some of their menu items contain monosodium glutamate, abbreviated MSG, which makes me very, very sick. Chick-fil-A does provide ingredient statements on their app or on the restaurant menu page, which is a great service to customers who may have allergies like I have. I personally haven't seen this 21% increase at Chick-fil-A slowing down the traffic there. Every time I drive by these restaurants, I see long lines of cars. It is really unbelievable that so many people will wait in those long lines for food. What do you think about the 21% increase for the cost of a chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A in the past 2 years? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Please keep in mind that everything in this video is for entertainment purposes only, and nothing in this video is financial advice or advice of any kind. If you need advice, seek advice from a qualified professional in good standing who puts your interests first and foremost. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. Please also consider sharing this video with your friends. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. Check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.